Hello there, friends of Unity Joy of Life. I would like to talk to you a little bit about something that happened to me this week. Let's just say that I had one of those moments or a whole day where life gave me the opportunity to practice what I teach. Steve and I are getting ready to purchase a used tractor for our property. So I did a little creative financing that morning, and I transferred money from one account into another. And as you know, normally it doesn't take very long. But hour after hour went by and nothing. One account said that the money left, but the other account didn't receive it. Now I could feel my mind beginning to create stories. Did I lose it? Did I do something wrong? Did I send it to the wrong place? Maybe in Cyberland it went into somebody else's account. Was the account hacked? Did I do something wrong, or is it completely gone? Everything gone? Isn't that what our minds do? We try to fill silence with fear. And believe me, I had some fear. So I had to come clean to the Wealth Path class because, I wrote the class. And I was feeling a little bit like a hypocrite teaching these truths of, there's not a spot where God is not. God's got this. And, may not look good, but there's good in it. All those truths just fell by the wayside, and I panicked. Fear became greater than God. There's a line from the movie called The Shack, and it says, "You imagine a future where God doesn't exist." And that is impossible. At the time, fear was saying, imagine a future where the money is gone. Imagine that you're all alone. Imagine that nothing is working in your favor, where God isn't providing. But every one of those thoughts required imagining a future in which God was somehow absent. And if you believe that God is everywhere present, well then, that's impossible. God is never absent. You see, fear was simply louder for a while. And that happens to every single one of us, doesn't it? Now, just so you know, the transfer finally went through almost 8 hours later. Nothing was actually wrong. The internet is just slow up in this neck of the woods. The only thing that needed changing really was my consciousness while I waited. How many times in our lives do we think that God isn't working, where in reality the answer is already in motion? Sometimes manifestation is happening long before we can see it. If God is what the Bible says, the one in whom we live and move and have our being, then there is no such thing as a future without God. God is everywhere present. And there is no verse in the Bible that says, except during money transfers, or except during health scares, or when the bills arrive, or when a loved one is struggling. God doesn't step away during the moments that make us sweat. Just know that. Those are often the moments when we become most aware of our need to lean in to God's presence. Because I don't believe that God has ever left you. I really don't believe that. The presence is still right where you are. Your peace is still available right where you are. The invitation is always open. And there's this beautiful thing that you can do, and that is just to ask yourself a different question rather than, oh my God, What is happening? What am I going to do? Instead of going there, don't do as I did. Do as the truth tells you to do, and just ask a different question, and that is, I wonder how God is going to solve this. I love that question. I have to ask myself that a lot about different things here and there. I wonder how God's going to solve this. And once you ask that, you've changed the conversation. You've stopped imagining a future without God and started imagining a future with God. That's faith. Maybe not in the absence of butterflies in your stomach, but you're just choosing to let God have the final word instead of fear. So, until next time, keep your heart open, keep your faith alive, and remember, you are walking in a friendly universe, and the best is still unfolding. Until next week, I'm keeping the faith for you.